Hi everyone, I'm Manolia, and today I'll mention about evaluating arguments and truth claims. There are some points, and now I'll tell them. When is an argument a good one? Before we need to know differences between bad argument and good argument. So, what is bad argument? Often poor arguments lack a clear structure and logical flow. Lack of clear structure and logical flow, and good argument well-structured argument follows a logical progression where each point builds upon the previous one. It typically includes a clear introduction, premises, and conclusions. And conclusion. When we know differences between these, it will be more easier evaluating arguments and truth claims. There are some important standards makes an argument bad one. We learned before. Lack of evidence, biased or incomplete information, unclear language, and vagueness. These are some clues. And the other point is good argument does not mean agrees with my views. There are two keywords, and these are firstly objectivity. What is objectivity? A good argument stands on its own merits, but it's not true. It should be judged based on its logical reasoning, evidence, and clarity. And the other one, focus on arguments, not person. Evaluate the argument itself, not the person who present it. It's important to what is said rather than who said. Good argument does not mean persuasive argument. Not all arguments are intended to persuade. Some aim to explore ideas, and there's a keywords subjectivity or persuasion. Persuasion itself is subjective and context dependent. What convinces one person might leave another unmoved. Factors like personal biases, prior knowledge, and emotional appeals can influence how an argument is received. A logical sound argument with strong evidence and clear reasoning can be considered good even if it fails to convince a particular audience. Just focus on um, strong evidence and clear reasoning. A good argument does not mean a well written or well spoken argument. Um, Not all well written arguments are good arguments. Literary merit, like clarity or organization, doesn't guarantee the argument's soundness. Deceptive arguments can be rhetorically impressive, while valid arguments in technical fields like science may lack literary flourish. And now, what good argument does mean? Um, what is a good argument from the standpoint of critical thinking? To answer this question, we need to review some things we learned in previous chapters, and there are two conditions while we are evaluating arguments. First one, all the premises are true, and the second one, the premises provide good reasons to accept the conclusion. And there are certain basic critical thinking standards that all good thinking and argumentation must meet. These standards: clarity, precision, I'm sorry, accuracy, relevance, and there are some others. We've already learned this, and here are evaluating arguments some general guidance. What can you say? There are some questions while we are evaluating arguments. These are first one: are the premises true? Check if the initial information is correct and reliable. And then, does the person making the argument make any mistake? See if the logic in the argument makes sense and if the reasons given strongly support the main point. Does the person explain their ideas clearly and exactly? Check if the argument is easy to understand and doesn't have confusing parts. Are the premises relevant to the conclusion? Make sure the information used actually helps prove the main idea and isn't off topic. Are the arguer's claims logically consistent? Check if everything in the argument makes sense together and if there are no conflicting ideas. Is the argument complete? See if the argument talks about all the necessary things and doesn't leave out important details given the limitations like time or space. And last one, is the argument fair? Check if the person making the argument is being fair, presenting evidence honestly, and treating opposing views respectfully. When is it reasonable to accept a premise? Uh, you know, all good arguments have true premises. But when it's reasonable to accept a premise as true, the most general principle can be summed up in the following principle or rational acceptance. Does the claim conflict with our personal experiences? And now, personal experiences can conflict with claims, but blindly trusting them is risky. Humans overestimate the reliability of their observations due to various factors like poor conditions, biases, and expectations. And critical thinkings recognize and account for these limitations when evaluating claims based on personal experiences. The adage believing is seeing highlights the potential for bias to influence our perception. While personal experiences are valuable, they should be critically evaluated with awareness of their limitations and potential for bias. Does the claim conflict with our background beliefs? Here are some keywords and judgment. Background belief is a judgment. Background beliefs refer to the set of assumptions and ideas that form the foundation of our understanding of the world. The statement suggests that these beliefs serve as a framework or for assessing claims that we cannot directly verify. Initial believability. Claims that align with our background beliefs are seen as initially believable. However, the statements emphasize that this initial believability doesn't guarantee the truth of the claims. It acknowledges that while alignment with our existing beliefs makes a claim seem plausible, it doesn't automatically make it true. And careful evaluation by critical thinkings. Um, Critical thinkers are characterized as individuals who carefully evaluate their background beliefs. This involves a deliberate and thoughtful examination of the assumptions that underline their understanding of the world. And two fundamental principles of critical thinking are highlighted. First, never accepting a claim without sufficient evidence emphasizes the importance of requiring adequate support before believing a statement. Second, believing only as strongly as the evidence warrants emphasize a proportional and reasoned approach to belief formation, avoiding unwarranted certainty. First one is focus on sufficient evidence, and second one, avoid unwarranted certainty. Refuting arguments. There are two ways in which an argument can be refuted. Strategy 1, show that a premise is false. Here is an example. Um, First premise, all presidents lives in the White House. Second one, Paris Hilton is president. Third one, so Paris Hilton lives in the White House. In this example, second premise is false is enough to refute the argument because this premise is false and the argument fails to provide good reason to accept the conclusion. And here the second strategy show that the conclusion does not follow from the premises. The second strategy for refuting an argument involves demonstrating that the conclusion doesn't logically follow from the premises. And this can be approached in two ways, deductively and inductively. Deductive reasoning. In deductive approach, the question is whether the conclusion necessarily follows if the premises are assumed to be true. And deductive reasoning aims for a conclusion that is logically certain based on the given premises. Inductive reasoning, the focus is on whether the conclusion is likely true based on the premises. Inductive reasoning allows for a conclusion that is probable or likely based on the available evidence.